Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? Hope all is well. Friday before Memorial Weekend. Sending my pick out. So, anybody have nice plans for the weekends? Going to Vegas, vacations, anything? I saw something that will cheer everybody up where they're making it illegal to have a CBDC in America, which I never thought they would because they wouldn't want it. So I never thought it would do anything. All right, let's see. Gold 23.35. And silver 30.36. So now let's break this down. So the 10 o'clock drop, we had a 11 o'clock drop, we had a 12 o'clock drop today, but nothing, just a few dollars. So why did we get all these big derivatives yesterday, but not today? Because they're all algorithms. Okay. Like I said, it's not a stock where they missed earnings and some illegal stuff happened and the CEO or CFO steps down and Bill Gates gets arrested. I mean, that is stock. This is gold. So that's the first differentiation that you need to understand. When gold drops, it's not they didn't hit earnings or something illegal. It's so somebody can buy it cheaper. Okay, it's all fucked up. We know that. It's absolutely illegal. Price fixing, especially in gold and silver, should never be allowed. But since the banks run the government, they're not going to arrest themselves. Hence the problem. Jamie Dimon's not arresting himself for price fixing. It's good to be king. It's good to be the judge, jury, and executioner. So what did we do? If we look at last week, silver wasn't even at 30 and gold was 23.35. It was 2,300 roughly. It was threatening 22.90, but 23.30, 23.40 was where it was most of the week. So we did get to 24.40, but it didn't hold. Why didn't it hold? Because when these guys do the derivatives and they short it, they're going to lose a lot of money shorting it if it keeps going up. So they need it to come down to get out of their short positions. I don't know how much money these clowns make going backwards. It's like shorting a Mickey Mantle card. Yeah, it's going to go down in price. Yeah, okay. So that's what you get. So the derivatives are algorithms. So they hit the algorithm and it goes and it sells until there's a buy. That's why you see these big drops because there's no buy at that point. The buys are all at 24.40. Nobody's buying at 23.30 anymore because they've already moved up to 24.40. So then some buying comes in, and that's why you don't see much of a drop as before. So do they make a lot of money when it drops $80? I have no idea. I don't know how they could, but I'm not clear on that. Silver 30.35, so silver's holding over 30. We'll look for it to go to 35. Now I know it's like the end of the quarter will be June, and they'll have when they get all their derivatives in. And then I think that's it. I think the second quarter ending the spot will end the price fixing. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's when it happened. It's like because it goes by quarter. So I think that's what we're looking for very soon. So that's what I don't like about alligator. Oh, it's all over. India is buying silver. Look, no more, No more price fixing. No more derivatives. Yeah, right. Okay. Thanks, alligator. Right as usual. People call him a legend. I shake my head going, that Egon, okay, Egon's a good guy. Alligator is no legend. He's not an Austrian. He's a banker. So we'll give him a banking legend. We're not giving him an economics legend. He's certainly not that. Mark McGuire's okay. I'm more of a legend than those guys are, but nobody gives me credit for anything, right? Um, I get everything that's going on, and I explain it to you. They don't. They can't explain it because they don't know. Um, Basically, don't waste your time with Mark McGuire today. There was some idiot on, some PhD guy or doctor this or that, absolutely clueless, didn't learn a thing. See, I'm watching to learn something when I watch Mark McGuire, and I know Mark will give us comex and bricks, which is why I'm watching him. I already know about gold and precious metals and everything. What I don't know is these derivative bullshits, because it's more of a banking thing. I'm not a banker, and I'm an economist. And that's where you get your wars. I know a lot about economics, but when you start getting into banking or derivatives, it's not my thing. Just like if he tried to pick football games, he'd be in so far over his head. Fortunately, I'm lucky that I can do both of these things, economics and football and baseball. Uh, so that's what's happening. I expect next week, the holiday's Monday, which could be good news for us because the Fed is the one killing it, and they'll be closed Monday for the holiday. So we could get the Asians and everybody running it up and nobody to come down at 10 o'clock and knock it down. So we could see some big rallies Monday. It really starts Sunday night in China, so we will see. But that's okay. We're at 23.30. We didn't fall. Notice we didn't fall to 22 or 21. And silver didn't fall under 30. So that's good news. They do the algorithms, do the knockdown, but then there's a buy order. So it goes down to the buy. That's why it drops so much. But when we start buying and there's no algorithm in, it goes up $50. So that's the game. It is not supply and demand. It's not free market like we would in a Mahomes card. So keep that in mind. That's why it goes down 20, 30 points. Because it's an algorithm and it's paper. It's not where there's bids and asks like you would see in a stock. You never see a stock go up like that. You see Coca-Cola at $30.50, and then they're spot and bids $30.51 or $30.49. You never see it 30.50 and then goes to 40.50, right? It goes up a little at a time. Why doesn't this? Because this is price fix. This is bullshit. So when they trigger the algorithm and it to say sell, it goes until the next buy order. That's why you see these dramatic things. But it has got nothing to do with no demand. It's got nothing to do with they didn't hit their targets. They didn't make their number. Again, it's not a stock. And but when we go up, it's going to do the same thing until we run up into a down. It's going to keep going up. But once we get rid of this whole system and go to a physical system, similar to the stock system where it's bid and sold, when you're going to have a lot more buyers because everybody's buying the gold. So it's amazing how they're trying to keep the price down. Like, how much money are these idiots making doing this versus just buying gold? They'd make a lot more money just buying gold, but they're too stupid to understand it. So these are your bullion banks, JP Morgan and Chase and Bank of America and Goldman Sachs. These are the four who keep doing the derivatives, who keep doing the algorithms. I guess they're trying to keep the price down for China so China can buy it at a low price. I mean, that's the only thing that makes any sense here. All right, so that's where we are. 23.35 gold, 30.33 silver. It's Friday. The markets close. 4 or 5 o'clock, and they're closed all weekend. And with the holiday, probably the U.S. won't be open, but I think international will. All right. Let's go to sports. So, yesterday, NBA, we have Indy plus 8.5. They lose by 14-15. They played a good game and lost game one. Boston played like they lost game one. So they played better. I think Indy is a good play in game three, but we'll have to see the spread. Atlanta over 9, we lost, but that was a regular play. We hit Toronto over 7.5. We hit Baltimore, and our 5-unit baseball was Oakland over 7.5, which went over easy. So the 5-unit play wins. The others aren't. They're not really plays. They're just picks, and I go 2-1 there. So I'll go 3-1 in baseball, which is a good day. And more importantly, I hit the 5-unit bet. Today, all right, let's look at. I'm in the NBA, so let's do the one game, and then we'll do baseball. Dallas, Minnesota. We got the Cowboys and the Vikings. Dallas leads 1-0. This game's in Minnesota. Minnesota's laying 5.5. Fran Tarkington and Chuck Foreman. Okay. So May of 24, we got mini minus 5.5. And we're going to make this 5 units. So as far as we can tell, does Dallas have their back against the wall? Well, it's a lot like the Denver series. Mini won the first 2 games of Denver, so Denver's back against the wall was game 2, and then it turned into game 3, 4, and 5. We won a lot of money there. Here, back against the wall, not really, but they do need the game. I look for Mini to play a strong game. They don't want to go down 0-2 and then go play 2 in Dallas. I don't know how lucky they can get to win the 2 in Dallas like Denver won the 2 in Minnesota in the last series. So I'm taking Mini minus 5.5, just 5 units, nothing too strong. You'll get a good effort. They lost and they can't go down 0-2. Kind of back against the wall, but not like the true back against the wall in basketball is it's elimination, right? They're down 3-1. They can't lose. The series is over. They get the win or 3-2. I don't know. So 3-0, 3-1, 3-2. The back's against the wall because the series is over. This isn't quite back against the wall. They don't have to win it, but if they're down 2-0 and they go to Dallas for 2, probably not going to win both, and then they're going to get down 3-1. So this is a very important game. Plus, coming off of a loss, we saw what they did to Denver coming off of a loss. All right, let's see. All right, so let's go to baseball. First games are at 6:40, and nothing's been played yet. Amazing how Friday we actually have night games. I spotted 3 games. So I want to talk about those first. All right, Kansas City and Tampa. I'm going out of order, but I'm going to the best games first. Kansas City, a 115 over under of 8. Seth Lugo 7-1 with the 179 against Sean Armstrong for Tampa, 1-1 with the 403. So our first game, KC, 10 units. We're not locking yet, but this is it. He's got a 179, but he's 7-1 versus the guy who's 0-1 or 1-0 who's pitched 2 games and he's got a 179. So after 8 games, he's 7-1. KC's 32-19. KC's the better team here, and it's only a 115. It really doesn't matter home or road in baseball. So that's your first 10 unit. Take KC, Seth Lugo. Let's see. Second game, Baltimore against Chicago White Sox. Baltimore is a 275 favorite, 7.5. Corbin Burns, 4-2 with the 2.41 against Chris Flexen, 2-4 with the 5.48. So we're taking Baltimore. We'll take it for 5 units against the White Sox. Our next one is the Cubbies. This is another, we're going to go 10 units. We got Shota Amanagan, 5-0 with the 0.84 against Miles McCollis, 3-5 with the 5.77. Playing like a pig. Here we only got to lay 150 with the Cubbies. Go Cubbies, beat Navy. Cubbies are a 10 unit play. Again, 5-0 with a 0.84. You could go over under, but here's where it's more delicious to just play the team. 5-0 with a, here's a 3-5 pitcher with the 5.77. Just play the team. Cubs should win with this guy on the mound. Why fuck around with over under? They might win 4-0, or they could win 10-0. So you don't want to fuck around with it. Let's see. I think we might have one more. Okay, the Yankees and San Diego. The Yankees are 115 favorite, 7.5. Carlos Rodon, 5-2 with the 3.27 against Yu Darvish, 4-1 with the 2.08. We're going to go under in this game. San Diego under 7.5. This will be 5 units. Yu Darvish, 4-1 with the 2.08. Rodon, 5-2 with the 3.27. So San Diego doesn't hit that much, so it looks good. And our next one is Arizona, 175 over under 7.5. Braxton Garrett, 0-0 with a 10.24 ERA for Miami. And he's only pitched in 2 games. 5 innings, he gave up 5 runs, and 4 innings, he gave up 6 runs. My kind of guy. Going against Zach Gallen for Arizona, 5-3 with the 3.02. We're going to Arizona. And this will also be 5 units. So our plays, Kansas City's a 10 unit. The Cubs are a 10 unit. Baltimore's a 5 unit. Arizona's a 5 unit. And San Diego under is 7.5. Those are the ones that stuck out. So that's 5 games. Now let's go back. Toronto and Detroit. Alex Manoah, 1-1 with a 3.00 ERA, who got us last week. Against Matt Manning, 0-1 with the 4.88. Detroit can't hit, can't pitch. Pretty pathetic. Games in Detroit. Detroit's an under. They just can't hit, especially in Comerica. It's such a big park. Very rarely do they hit home runs there. Let's see. Detroit's hitting a whopping 234, and Toronto's hitting a whopping 228. So here's where we have Manning, who sucks. He's 0-1 with the 4.88 ERA against Manoah, 1-1 with the 3. So this probably, Manning will probably give up a few runs. It's in Detroit. I'm going to go under. I'm not going to play it. Toronto. No, you know what? We're just going to take Toronto. I'm not even going to go over under. It's probably an under. Now, you know what? I got to go under. That was my first thing, and under 8. All right. Atlanta and Pittsburgh. Ray Kerr, 1-0 at the 2.89 against Bailey Falter for the Steelers, 2-2 with a 3.53. Ray Kerr, he's 1-0 at the 2.89. How many has he pitched? He's pitched Started in May. He's a bullpen guy, though. 1 inning, 2 inning, 3 innings. So we got to ignore him. So his 289 is a bullpen 289. Bailey Falter, he's a regular guy. Gave up 6 runs the first game in March. And then he had one other where he gave up 5 to Oakland, and then it was a couple of 2s and 3s. It's hard because what do you do with this Atlanta bullpen guy? What's he going to go? 2 innings, 3 innings? You get the bullpen, Falter over. I got to let it go. I don't know what. I've never seen this before. I got to worry about the bullpen pitchers pitching. And we're going to pitch, what, 4 or 5 bullpen pitchers? So let's look at Atlanta's bullpen is 320. So I'll give him 3 runs. And Pitt, give him 6 runs, over under 9. I'm not touching it. Stupid. You got 5 starters. You got to go to your bullpen, really? Oh, my God. Seattle, Washington. Seattle is a -140, over under of 8. George Kirby, 4-4, 3.99 ERA against Tex McKenzie. Gore, 2-4 with a 3.30. And this just gets in. Hey, Greg and John. This just gets in, really, the bullpen and the hitting. Seattle, 348 bullpen, 227. So they don't hit. Pretty weak. Bullpen's decent. Washington only hits 220 with the 3.72. Neither team really hits. We got a 3.99 pitcher and a 3.30 pitcher. What do you do, over or under? Don't really know. I'm going to pass on this. I guess I would take Washington at home, but I don't love the pitcher. KC, we already got. Milwaukee, Boston. Boston 135, 9.5. Bryce Wilson, 2-1 with the 2.79 against Cutter Crawford, 2-2, but the 2.17 is misleading. The first 2 he shut out, and after that, he's more like a 3.17. So we're going to go under with Milwaukee here. We don't trust Cutter Crawford anymore. Milwaukee, 9.5. Texas and Minnesota. Jose Urena, 1-3 with a 3.29 against Bailey over, 4-2 with the 4.40. I know Texas is really, like, you think they hit because what they did last year, but when you look at them, they're hitting 250 with a 5. So they're an over team. Minnesota is a 233, 401. Should be scoring in this with these pitchers. Bailey over. Yeah, we'll go mini over. See, these are the games that kind of don't really, you really don't know what to do with them. Over 8.5. I'm not playing it for any units. You don't know what to do with them because 4.40 ERA, a 3.29 ERA, they can hit. The bullpens kind of suck. And they win 2-0, and you're like, where did that come from? So you got to be careful. Celtics 1, Pacers 1. Summer is here. Very good, Greg and John. The Dodgers, Cincinnati. The Dodgers 155, 10.5. Wow, 10.5. James Paxton, 5-0 with a 2.84 against Graham Ashcraft. I like the Dodgers here, and it's 155. So we're going to play this for 5 units. Dodgers have been hurting, but I like them in this situation. The 49ers and the Jets, JETSs. Mets are the Jets are favored 145, over under 7.5. Kyle Harrison for the Niners, stepping in for Montana, 4-1 with the 3.60, and Christian Scott 0-2 with the 4.32. Do I have any hitting in this game? The Mets hitting 235, the 49ers hitting 247. And not really great. 7.5. I got to go over 7.5. SF over 7.5. I'm not going to play it for anything. but I do think that 7.5 is really low here. Baltimore and the White Sox, we've already talked about. The Cubbies and the Cardinals, we've already talked about. The Eagles and the Broncos. All right, good game. Phillies 225, over under of 11 because it's in Colorado. Christopher Sanchez 2-3 with the 3-3-1 against Ty Black. One, we're just going to go Philadelphia. We're going to play for 5 units. Just because I like Philly, they're pretty hot. 37-14. They should win the game. Colorado, I don't think it matters. Cleveland and California. Cleveland's a 110 favorite, 7.5. Logan Allen, 5-2 with the 4.91 against Patrick Sandoval, 2-6 with the 4.59. Again, I got to go over here. Cleveland over 7.5, and this will be for 5 units. Again, I got a 5 and a 5 ERAs, and I got a 7.5 ERA, 7.5 total in the game. Houston, here we go. Houston, Oakland, we got Verlander, 2-2 with the 3.97. But we know he's better because they had that one bad game against the Yankees. So if you take that out, he's probably at about a 1. Ross Stripling, all right, we're going to go Houston. And this is going to be a 5 unit. With Ross Stripling, I can't go over or under because I can't expect Oakland to hit Verlander. So it's another 8-hit shutout, an 8 innings shutout. And if we think Houston's going to score a lot, just bet Houston. The Yanks, San Diego, we've already played it. And Arizona, Miami, we've already played it. Okay. You're welcome, Greg and John. Yeah, I mean, we know summer's here. I mean, that's kind of vampiring. It's Memorial Day, and like I said, markets will be closed on Monday. Pool should open. They're going to do asphalt here on my little thing. So my question is where the hell do I park? But let's not get off subject. So let's go through this again. Minnesota NBA minus 5.5, 5 unit. Baseball, Kansas City, Baltimore, the Cubbies, San Diego under 7.5. Arizona, Toronto under 8. Milwaukee under 9.5. Minnesota over 8.5. The Dodgers, San Francisco over 7.5. Philadelphia, Cleveland over 7.5, and Houston. My bets: Minnesota minus 5.5 and NBA 5 units. Kansas City 10 units. Baltimore 5 units. The Cubbies 10 units. San Diego under 7.5 5 units. Arizona 5 units. The Dodgers 5 units. Philadelphia 5 units. Cleveland over 7.5 5 units, and Master Verlander 5 units. So I ended up with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 baseball games. Yesterday we had 1. It's nothing planned. It's the pitching. I got 3 or 4 aces going with, under 2 ERAs. And if they're, San Diego's under versus under, but then we got Verlander and we've got the Cubs and Kansas City. We got aces going against 4th or 5th starters. So that's been doing very successful for us. So that's your baseball today. What else do we got? So listening to the baseball chumps on the radio, or the sports chumps, and last night, and they were talking about this one guy, never heard of. And the way they were describing it was this war, wins above replacement. Now, I've done a little research on what is this war, and nobody can answer the question. So why are they bringing up that this guy has got a 2 WAR or something when you don't even know what it is? You don't even know what it means. And then they try to measure on OPS, which is what? It's not even on base percent. I don't even know what it is. I think it's how many extra base hits you get versus hits, and I don't know if batting average is included. Again, it's a meaningless stat. Keep it simple, stupid. You talk batting average, you want to talk home runs and RBIs. That's it. There is nothing new to baseball. If the guy can hit 300, great. If he hits 50 home runs, great. If he can drive in 100 runs, great. Keep it simple. I don't know what OPS even is supposed to represent. How many extra base hits does he have over hits? Who gives a fuck? Can he hit the ball? Can he hit 300? And WAR, wins above replacement, is the most meaningless stat I've ever heard. You try looking it up, there isn't even a definition. So to say this one guy's good because he's got a good WAR, what's his batting average? What are you talking about? I mean, so it gets down to statistics can be used to your benefit the way you want to use them. So I can tell you about gold, or I can tell you about a stock, or I can tell you anything you want, and I can find a way to use statistics to prove my point or to not prove my point. Statistics are very dangerous when used like that, especially like to look at gold in 2008. Is it the same as today? Not even close. What happened in 1999 or 2000 doesn't matter. There are always different variables. Can I look at New England now and use the same variables as when Brady was there or Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers? No, it doesn't. It's got nothing to do with it. The variables change too much. So this fellow with WAR, describe it, right? You can't because you don't even know what it is. But you're using it to prove a point that this guy's good because his WAR's a 2. Is that good? Is that bad? What's good? I know a 300 batting average is good. I know 40 to 50 home runs is good. I know 100 RBIs is good. I don't know what a WAR at 2 means. I don't know what an OPS at 500. I don't know if that's good or bad, but they want to read it like it's his batting average. Oh, it's bad. Look, and he's hitting 500. Well, no, that's not his batting average. I believe it's how many extra base hits he has of his hits. So if the guy's a big home runner, like Dave Kingman played for the Niners and I think the Yankees, the New York team or whatever. All he did was hit home runs. So he did about 200 with 25 home runs. So his OPS would be high because of the hits. They're all home runs. But his batting average was 200. You wouldn't want the guy for his batting average. So that's all I'm saying. Keep it simple. So when you're talking about a guy, what's his batting average? I don't want to hear his OPS because you're trying to deceive everybody because we don't know what it means and we don't know what a good OPS versus a bad OPS. I know a 300 hitter is good. I know a guy who's hitting 200 sucks. But when you go to OPS, I don't know what's a 200 and what's a 300. So you're being very vague and you're making some point that doesn't make any sense. Sorry, it doesn't mean anything to me what an OPS is, if it even matters. So it's not really an intelligent thing. That'd be like me telling you about the money supply, about inflation without telling you about money supply, or just telling you about prices in Fritos. Oh, Fritos went up to $5 a bag. Look at the inflation. It's meaningless, right? If I can't tell you about the money supply being printed, I can't talk about inflation. And if people don't bring that up, how much the 21 trillion and the 130 trillion that's outside the US, they can't bring that up. They can't, there's no argument. They don't deserve to be talking about it because they don't know what they're talking about. I heard one guy yesterday talk about that the de-dollarization was fake. De-dollarization, oh no, it's not really happening. Are you insane? Do you see what BRICS is doing? And we know Russia's off the dollar. We know China's off the dollar. We know Saudi Arabia is off the dollar. We know three-quarters of the BRICS countries and Africa's off the dollar. There's a lot of countries off the dollar. What are you talking about? What's the big special thing to be on the dollar? The dollar's worthless. Well, you can just keep printing money. It's okay. I love that one. One guy was stupid enough to say, uh, all we got to do is print money to get off the debt. We can get out of debt by printing money. Okay. So, again, why are you on YouTube? What is your role here? Because you're an idiot. And I'll say that in my comments because it pisses me off. All right, let's go through it again. Minnesota minus 5.5 in the NBA tonight, 5 units. KC, 10 unit. Baltimore, 5 unit. The Cubs, 10 unit. San Diego under 7.5, 5 units. And Arizona, a 5 unit. The Dodgers, 5 unit. The Phillies, 5 unit. Cleveland over 7.5, 5 unit. And the Verlanders, the Fighting Verlanders, 5 units. So that be your baseball. Nothing until tonight. I hate when they have like Wednesday, there's 5 games at 1 o'clock. What is that? Who's running to the ballpark at 1 o'clock to go watch? People are working, I assume. And if they're not working, they're probably not running to a baseball game. How ridiculous. All right. So we talked. So let's get a little bit deeper into gold and comex. All right. This is what really people don't understand. It scares people. It scares them into not buying gold and silver. The mighty algorithm, the mighty bankers, the gold, what are they called? The bullion banks, JP Morgan, Chase, Goldman Sachs, and Bank of America. They are the dealers in Mark McGuire's casino. So the casino is the derivatives that are in play, and they're running out of derivatives to play because you got to have physical gold to back it. And when China wants to buy it, you've got to have gold backing your derivatives. Okay. And so what happens is we see gold go from 2,300 to 2,440. And we go, okay, here we go. Gold's going. We know there's no profit taking. Nobody's selling gold because gold's money. It's not a stock. People are confusing stocks with gold. Stocks go down because they don't hit their targets. They miss expectations. Sales are down. Competition. There's a legal battle. The government sanctions them or disallows something. So there's a lot of reasons stocks go down, but those are stocks. There are no earnings in gold. Gold's gold. That's it. There's no earnings. I don't care. It's just, it's gold. I got it. There's nothing you can do about it. I got it. And so when gold goes down, it's not earnings. It's not, nothing can happen. So, and it's worldwide, not, Amazon's a US company, right? And gold's not. Gold's China, Russia, Africa, South America. So why does gold go down when we know there's no profit taking and there's no consolidation, there's no anything? Because the only way it can go down is these algorithms by these 4 bullion banks. So what are they doing? Well, there's 3 reasons, I believe. The first reason is they want the price down so China can buy, right? If you're trying to buy gold, you obviously want a lower price. So you run these derivatives and these algorithms to go down the next buy. So that's what you're doing. You kind of got caught by surprise because the price went up to 2,400, 2,420, 2,430. So when you do a derivative and an algorithm goes down, there's really nothing to catch it because everybody's buying at the 24s. Nobody's buying at 23.50 anymore. So that's why you see these big $50 drops, is because they're doing derivatives. Why are you but you're not selling, you're just doing it. You're doing the algorithm, the derivative. You're saying sell because China wants to buy more. China puts their order in, lower the price. So they do it and they get paid off by China. The second reason is because, oh my God, if gold gets too high, nobody will be in dollars. They'll start realizing the Ponzi scheme that we're in with the dollar. Oh my God, you'll see the Ponzi scheme. So let's keep gold down. Well, it only works, but the market inevitably controls it, the free market. And everybody's panicking about the dollar going out, and all the central banks are buying gold. And the people in China are buying gold, and China's actually said, we won't let the price of gold fall. So they won't, because they're the ones controlling the price. So just a second, Greg. So they want to keep the price down because they want to keep you in the Ponzi scheme. Oh, I'm going to stay in Amazon because the price of Amazon goes up. But look at gold. Gold goes up and then it comes down. Oh, but they don't know why. They don't know it's fixed, and and they don't realize that since now it's a tier one asset, and Basel III says you got to carry the gold, that they can't keep doing it. So they're doing it until they run out of gold, which is soon. And China wants to buy gold and silver cheap, as does India and Russia. So they keep telling them to sell so they can buy more, but they're running out. There's not much gold left. And I know I had a third reason, but let's see. The algorithm derivative keeps the price down for China to keep people out of the US, keep you in the US dollar, away from it. That's all I can think of right now are those reasons. So, of course, China, Russia, India, and all these countries want a cheaper gold price, of course. And it signals when the price goes too high, people start to panic. It's the Titanic. They need the lifeboat. They get off. They get out of the dollar into gold. And then people also start seeing gold go up, start taking notice, going, maybe we should buy some. Look, it's going up. The professor is right. So those are the reasons. So when you see a price drop like we have, it's an analog. It's analytic. It's algorithms that are doing it. It's not supply and demand. It's not, like I said. That's why they drop $40, $50, because it's where the buying's at. So if there's nobody to buy it because you want to short it, then obviously, then somebody's got to be on the switch going, hey, we got to put a buy in. But that's the reason they drop it to buy. But it's not free market. It's these algorithms. It's a price fix. It's all illegal. JP Morgan, of course, the monopoly king, as I told you yesterday, is behind it. They should all be put to jail. But since they run the government, they won't. And hopefully they'll get theirs. Hopefully they don't have any gold. And when the gold goes down, that's it. And the other thing is, everybody understands the de-dollarization. So the dollar's worthless anyway. But when there's no demand for it, it's zero. That's how things die. That's how Kmart died, Sears. There's no demand to go there. It has no value. There's no demand for the dollar because everybody wants gold because they realize the dollar's been printed to death. So if nobody wants the dollar, it's worthless. Nobody will buy the T-bills. And in fact, China and Japan keep selling. They sell their T-bills. They sell their dollars to get out of them. These people international who have US dollars will sell them. That's what will cause the housing market to crash and the stock market to crash. People are getting more and more. So as you see these prices go up, and you're sitting in dollars and everybody's de-dollarizing, what are you going to do? You're going to get the hell out of them because you don't want to get caught on the boat as it's sinking. Greg and John, how can I buy gold if it goes too high? Silver is cheaper by so much. Why? Okay. So, first question, Greg and John, how can I buy gold if it goes too high? Well, it depends on your bankroll. It's about 24.50 right now for an ounce. If you can't afford it, this is roughly 650, 700. How much do you have? If you have 700, buy quarter ounces. The tenth of an ounces are about 280. So if you have 280, buy tenth of an ounces. They're just like this. They're just smaller. And there's half ounce. So there's tenth of an ounce, quarter of an ounce, half ounce, and an ounce. You don't have to buy the ounce if you don't have 2,400 to do it with. Then don't buy an ounce. You don't need an ounce. As long as you own gold, you'll be okay because gold's going to the moon. But you want to buy what you can. And I would recommend gold before the silver. As you can see, gold goes up 30, 40, $50. Silver goes up 30, 40 cents. Silver is cheaper by so much. Why? Well, there's a little bit more silver. They're trying to keep the silver price down for manufacturing. The Tomahawk missile, for example, needs 500 ounces of silver. The solar panels in China are trying to build need silver. So they can't make them if silver's 2,000 an ounce. And I don't know that they can substitute. You don't really use gold to make anything because it's too damn expensive. Gold never wears out, silver does. There's more silver than there is gold by a couple 100,000 tons. So I think, what do we got? 250,000 tons of gold, and I think it's 550,000 tons of silver, roughly. I've heard other amounts of silver, but roughly that. But silver wears out. So when they put silver in solar panels and it wears out, they got to replace it. You'll never have to replace gold. And then in these electric batteries for these electric cars, you need silver. For the Tomahawk missiles, you fire the Tomahawk,